Dear children, welcome to our next topic, root pressure. As iron from the soil are actively transported into the vascular tissue of the root, water moves along and increases the pressure inside the xylem. Usually, the water molecules are absorbed along with nutrients, mineral ions. So, this increases the concentration in the root hair cell and it increases the pressure. This pressure is called root pressure. This root pressure is responsible for pushing the water into smaller height of the stem. Usually, this root pressure moves the water molecules in the xylem vessel to a smaller height of the stem. Then, the uptake of minerals. Plants depend on minerals from soil for its nutritional requirements because the minerals are very much needed for the growth and metabolic activities of the plant. So these minerals are absorbed along with the water molecules from the soil. All minerals cannot be passively absorbed by the roots because there are some factors involving in that process. There are two factors account for this. First one is minerals are present in the soil as charged particles, that is ions. Hence, they cannot move across the membranes normally. This is the first factor. Then second one is the concentration of minerals in the soil is usually lower than the concentration of minerals in the root because the roots continuously absorbing minerals. Hence, the concentration of mineral ions inside the root is very high when compared to the concentration of minerals in the soil. Therefore, most minerals enter the root by active transport through the cytoplasm. So, the active transport needs energy in the form of ATP. Then it is transported to all parts by the transpiration process. The absorbed minerals are then translocated to the required place, that is translocation of mineral ions. The mineral ions remobilized from older dying leaves to younger leaves. This phenomenon can be seen in deciduous plants. The plants remove the leaves in order to protect the transpiration process. That means they reduce the rate of transpiration. During the autumn season, they usually carry out this kind of process. The elements like sulfur, phosphorus, nitrogen and potassium are easily mobilized while the elements like calcium are not remobilized. Here, the elements move from one place to another. That means the leaf which are going to detach from the leaf which are going to detach to the required place. A small amount of material exchange takes place between xylem and fiber. So here the material means water or food substances. The next topic is phloem transport. The food synthesized by the leaves are transported by the phloem either to the area of requirement or stored. The food is synthesized in the leaves and it has been transported to the place of requirement where it has been required for the metabolic activities. Otherwise, where it could be stored. Phloem tissue is composed of seed tubes which have seed plates. The cytoplasmic strand passes through the pores in the seed plates. Phloem transports food, that is sucrose, from the source to a sink. Here, the source is a place where the food substances has been prepared, that is where the photosynthesis has been carried out. It is in the leaves. So here, source is the leaf. Leaves are considered as source and sink. Sink means where the material has been stored, otherwise required. The source is the part of the plant that synthesizes food, that is the leaf, and sink is the part that needs or stores the food. But the source and sink may be reversed depending on the season or the plant's need. So it is purely depends upon the plant's need and the season. Sometimes the food is prepared in leaves or transported to stem and it has been stored in the storage organs. But the seasons like autumn, the tree undergo the removal of leaves. The leaves will fall down and there will be no leaves to carry out the photosynthesis process. In such situation, the plant utilize the stored food in the sink. Here, the sink will act as the source. Since the source-sink relationship is variable, the direction of movement in the phloem can be upwards or downwards. So that is called as bidirectional. So if the food material is synthesized in the leaf and transported towards the root, it is moved downwards. But in autumn season, the food substances will be transported from the stem to the growing leaflets. So in that situation, the food move from upwards. So the direction of movement in phloem can be upwards or downwards, that is bidirectional. In contrast, the movement is always unidirectional in the xylem, that is upwards, because roots are the nearby source of water for plants. They continuously absorb the water molecules from the soil, then it has been transported to the leaves or the required places. So here in xylem, the movement is unidirectional. Then translocation of sugar. The mechanism of translocation means the movement of food substances from one place to another place, that is source to sink. The mechanism of translocation of sugars from source to sink is through a pressure flow hypothesis. Here, the sucrose is continuously produced due to the photosynthesis process. So it increases the pressure, then it moves from the higher concentration to lower concentration. Glucose prepared at source by photosynthesis is converted into sucrose. This sucrose moves into the component cells which is present nearby the phloem, then into the living phloem sieve tube cells by active transport. Active transport means here for this movement of molecules, it requires the ATP energy substance. This process produces a hypertonic condition in the phloem. Then water in the adjacent xylem moves into the phloem by osmosis. At the same time, the water molecules from xylem vessels also enter into the phloem cells. As osmotic pressure builds up, the phloem sap moves to areas of lower pressure. The phloem sap means the combined food and water that will move through the sieve tubes to where the pressure is very low. By active transport, sucrose move into the cells where it is utilized or stored. Finally, the food substances enter into the required place, otherwise the storage area. As sugars are removed, the osmotic pressure decreases and water moves out of the phloem. So, whenever the food substances reaches the required place or storage area, the concentration changes will be occur in phloem vessels. As sugars are removed, the water moves out of the phloem. The next topic is ascent of sap. The movement of food substances in the phloem tube, that is known as ascent of sap. The upward movement of water and minerals from roots to different parts is called ascent of sap. A number of factors play a role in ascent of sap, and it takes place in the following steps. First one is root pressure. Root pressure is the main factor which plays a major role in the movement of food substances. Water from soil enters into the root hairs due to osmosis. Root pressure is responsible for movement of water up to the base of the stem. The next factor is capillary action. Water or any liquid rises in the capillary tube because of physical forces. This phenomenon is called capillary actions. In the same way, in stem, water rises up to certain height because of the capillary actions. So whenever the water molecules enter into the root capillary tube, the concentration will be high, then it creates the next factor is adhesion and cohesion of water molecules. Water molecules from a continuous column in the xylem because of forces of adhesion and cohesion among the molecules. So here the definition for cohesion is the force of attraction between molecules of water is called cohesion. So here the attraction between the molecules of water. The next topic is adhesion. The force of attraction between molecules of different substances is called adhesion. Water molecules stick to a xylem because of force of adhesion. Then another factor is the transpiration pull. The transpiration through stomata creates a vacuum which creates a suction called transpiration pull. The transpiration pull sucks the water column from the xylem tubes, and thus water is able to rise to great heights even in the tallest plants. So during photosynthesis, the plants continuously absorbing the sunlight. This increases the temperature among the surface of the plant's leaf. So due to this temperature, the water will evaporate through the leaf pores called stomata. The loss of water in the form of vapor through the aerial parts of the plant, which is known as transpiration. This water loss in the leaves creates a vacuum which creates a suction force which is applied from the topmost region of the leaves to the deepest root hair. This creates a suction force. Due to this suction force, the water molecules are moved to great height of the plants. Thank you.